Good morning to our chairpersons and to the members of the House of Representatives and all present here in this meeting. So, our first slide po, please. Next slide po. Okay, so as a brief history of the offshore gaming in the Philippines, offshore gaming has already been in existence in other parts of the country since as early as 2003. However, it was only in August 2016 that it was under PAGCOR through the issuance of the rules and regulations for Philippine offshore gaming operations. So initially, the POGO rules and regulations aimed to curtail the proliferation of illegal online games in the country, as well as to ensure that online games are properly regulated, among others. Eventually, in February 2017, then President Rodrigo Duterte issued Executive Order Number 13, which mandates, among others, the territorial jurisdiction of therein stated state gambling regulators in issuing licenses to operate online gaming activities. Thereafter, the Philippine Amusement and Gaming Corporation, through the past Board of Directors, issued the Offshore Gaming Regulatory Manual, which governed the issuance of offshore gaming licenses and the regulation of offshore gaming operations in general. In September 2021, eventually, there became a Republic Act called the Act Taxing Philippine Offshore Gaming Operations, which was signed as part of government's efforts to regulate all forms of gambling. So it introduced the tax regime for offshore gaming licensees and service providers, as well as the foreign employees employed in offshore gaming operations. Now, with all of the incidents that happened in 2023, most especially the raid that has happened in Pampanga, in Sun Valley Clark, the PAGCOR Board of Directors, headed by the chairman, by our present chairman, Alejandro Tenco, approved the new regulations for offshore gaming operations in response to the challenges wherein some licensees and their service providers were found to be involved in fraudulent activities. Next slide po. So to give a brief background po and give this body a better understanding po, the difference between the licenses and the authorizations issued by PAGCOR, when we say internet gaming license o yung tinatawag po natin dati na POGO, they should be the one offering a business-to-consumer game offering. So they carry out online gaming products such as e-casino games, random number generated based games, and sports betting. So sila po ang diretsong nagpapataya sa mga consumers po or patrons that should be outside of the Philippines and should be within the legal age of gambling po. We also issue authorizations to business entities such as gaming content providers. Halimbawa po nito ay yung provider po natin ng live casino games. So, they provide po yung live feeds ng mga dealers natin na nagdi-deal dire-diretso po. Then, yun po yung tinatayaan sa website ng mga B2C licensees po natin. So nagbebenta po ng live feeds itong mga kumpanya na ito para po ito yung i-offer ng ating mga licensees sa kanilang mga online casinos abroad. We also give authorization sa mga creator po ng games or sa developers po ng games, wherein aside po from the live casinos, we have the RNG-based games, yun po yung mga slot machine games, and other types of games po na i-offer po ng B2C licensee o nung tinatawag na IGLs sa kanilang mga websites. Ito po, kaiba kaiba doon sa dati po nating framework wherein ang POGO licensee po can have as many as 10 service providers. Ito po yung nihigpitan po natin lalo sa regulations. Pwede po kayong magkaroon ng support provider na magbibigay ng marketing services, customer relations, research and development, or other support to the different facets of operations ng mga online casinos, pero limited na po ito ngayon sa 2. Pero kailangan niyo pong i-justify. Dati po, basta po mag-apply po kayo as a service provider, pwede na po mga 10. Ngayon po, mahigpit na po tayo. Makikita niyo po mamaya yung number po natin ng support providers. Next po. At this one po is a separate accreditation naman na pinatibay po ng bago nating board is yung special class of BPO. Ito naman po yung mga kilala po natin na BPO service providers and they service legitimate licensed gaming operators abroad. So hindi po sila nagseserbisyo sa mga IGLs natin, kundi sa mga lisensyadong gaming operator abroad. Halimbawa po ng mga clients nila come from the United Kingdom, United States, Canada. Kumbaga po, ito po yung mga malalaki po yung mga gaming companies na sineserbisyohan nila at ang clientele po is sa mga first world countries. Ang maganda pa po dito sa special class of BPO, it is a requirement that the workforce should comprise 90% Filipino employees po. Next po.
I hope the members will not mind it. Yun abroad, yung mga international companies ang nag-hire sa kanila.
Yes sir, bali po yung
Tapos sa Pilipinos yung mga or yung mga actors or operator dito sa atin.
Iba-iba po, may mga multinational companies po tayo na malalaking BPOs po na kumukuha po sila ng clients na gaming operators abroad and yung isang division po sa kanila ay pinapa-accredit po nila sa PAGCOR.
Okay, I got it. Okay, so thank you. Before you proceed, the chair would like to acknowledge the presence of Congressman Salvador Pleito and Congressman Bonifacio Bosita on the part of the Committee on Public Order and Safety.
For our part, we'd like to acknowledge the presence of Congressman Loreto S. Amante from 3rd District of Laguna.
You can proceed, please.
So, just to give an idea po to the body on the total annual income po of the industry, as you can see po in this presentation, at its peak in 2019, we have a total of 298 licensees and service providers, wherein kumita po ang PAGCOR noon ng nasa 7.9 billion pesos. Pagdating po ng 2020, naging 242 po, kumita po ang PAGCOR ng halagang 5.15 billion pesos po. Then 2021, with 185, kumita po ng 3.47. Bumaba na po dito pagdating po ng pandemic po. And then, noong 2022 po, ang kinita po ng PAGCOR is 2.99. Gusto ko pong i-emphasize dito na bago po dumating yung present administration, the target for the year 2022 was only 2.1 billion. However, with the introduction of new amendments to the regulations and stricter enforcement po when the new leadership came in, napataas pa po natin to 2.9 billion or na-exceed pa po natin yung target na 2.1 billion in 2022. And makikita niyo po, in 2023 po, inintroduce na po natin dito yung bagong framework, yung Internet Gaming Licensing Regulations. And with the 87 licensees and service providers, na-exceed po natin yung target natin na initially 4.2 billion. Kumita pa rin po tayo with the new regulations, new fee structure, as well as the stricter monitoring ng 5.17 billion. Kahit na po, 87 na lang ang natirang licensees and providers at that time sa kabuuan. At ngayong 2024, kasi po nabawasan na naman po ulit, we are still expecting, barring unforeseen circumstances, nakikita pa rin po kami ng nasa 7 billion pesos for the year 2024. Next po.
Singit lang ako. I hope you don't mind members and briefly din again. So in other words, from 298 to 87, still 5 billion yung nakuha natin. And estimated ninyo magiging 7 billion compared to 2019, almost the same yung makukuha natin. Pero mas mababa yung ating licensee. Okay,
Yes,
thank you.
tama po kayo dun, Mr. Chair. Then, we would also like to show this body po the annual fines and penalties that was imposed po from 2020 up to the present. So, from 2020 po to 2021, ito po, $375,000 and $80,000. Pero pagdating po ng 2022, talaga pong hinigpitan na po namin yung pagpapatupad ng regulations, at kung meron po kaming nakikitang mga violations sa mga sa operations ng licensees po namin, na nag-i-impose po agad kami ng penalties, and in the new regulations, tinaasan po namin ito. So, in 2022, we have imposed a total of 2022 po with the new admin and the new regulations po. We have imposed a total of $702,000 in 2022, $2,430,000 and $570,000 as of June 2024. So humigit na po ng magkulang $4 na milyong na po na total fines and penalties ang na-impose sa pamamagitan po ng maayos po na monitoring po ng aming Compliance Monitoring and Enforcement Department at Security Group. Next po. To give also an idea sa body po kasi.
May we ask something lang. What are the common violations that kaya nakasingil kayo ng $2.4 million?
Meron po kaming mga, halimbawa po kasi sir, meron po kaming mga initial na violation na halimbawa, na regulations, halimbawa po, kailangan ganito lang po yung number ng mobile phones na ginagamit po ninyo. Hindi po kayo pwedeng maglagay ng ganitong application sa inyong mga computers, o kaya naman po meron pong nakikitaan sa kanila ng halimbawa, meron po sa kanila nakitaan na hindi po dala yung passports o hindi po napresentahan ng kanilang empleyado agad. So, we want po kasi na pati po yung ibang regulations ng mga iba't ibang agencies na honor po namin para po mas maayos po yung takbo ng operations ng mga licensees. Dito naman po ngayon po, gusto po namin ito bigyan diin yung mga number of employees po. Kasi po, every month, we require our licensees, service providers, and CBPO to report po the manpower count of their companies. So as of June 20, June 2024, makikita po natin na meron na pong 31,369 Filipino employees and 35,465 employees na foreign nationals. So a total po of 66,834 direct hires pa lang po. So sila po yung diretsyong empleyo po ng mga licensees and service providers. So unlike po before, wherein masyado po talagang malaki ang difference ng foreign nationals to Filipinos, ngayon po, mas marami na po, o 1:1 na, ang dami po ng empleyado ng Filipino to foreign nationals po. Also, ito po sa SCBPO, yung nabanggit ko po na 90% po dapat ng kanilang manpower ay Filipino, halos higit 5,000 na po ang ating mga empleyado. So, 5,017 for Filipinos and 151 foreign nationals po. So talaga pong marami pong Pilipino na nabibigyan ng trabaho dito sa mga special class of BPOs na ito. And mahigpit po namin pinapatupad na talagang 90% po dapat ng kanilang manpower must be Philippine nationals po. Sa isa pong request ng House regarding issues and concerns in monitoring, isa po talaga sa pinakakinakaharap po natin is yung proliferation of illegal online casinos. So, despite po kasi ng effort natin to monitor effectively and report such illegal activities, so as baka po narinig po ninyo in the news during the Senate hearing, almost 7,000 websites have already been reported to the National Telecommunications Commission and the DICT by PAGCOR. Starting pa lang po ito ng 2022 nung umupo po yung new leadership, pero almost 5,000 pa lang po talaga ang shutdown po dito sa mga 7,000 po na na-report po natin na websites. And aside from that, bukod po sa mga online casinos, marami din pong illegal operators na nakikita po natin, meaning hindi po sila kumuha ng lisensya sa PAGCOR to become an IGL, a service provider, or a special class of BPO. Nakikita din po natin that the illegal operators have employed countermeasures to mask illegal activities. Also, next slide po, rapid growth of illegal casinos through social media. Ito po, napapansin po namin at namomonitor din po namin na marami pong mga influencers ang gumagamit po ng platform nila such as Facebook, TikTok, YouTube to encourage prospective players to try their luck in legal platforms. So, pinapromote po nila ang website or ang isang laro, halimbawa po yung mga wheel of whatever po, na maglaro kahit na po wala po yung lisensya sa PAGCOR. So, ito pong mga illegal game offerings na to, kamukha din po sila ng mga ibang games na ino-offer po ng mga legal, but they have no player protection. We cannot help po the players who will play in that platform pag nagkaroon po sila ng problema. Wala po silang contribution to the country's gross gaming revenue. Wala rin po silang customer verification. So, marami pong mga kabataan ang maaari pong makapaglaro sa mga illegal platforms po na ito. And then, next po. Aside from these, hindi po little by little rapidly nagkakaroon po tayo ng mas sophisticated technology. So even po the PAGCOR logo, whether old and new, are being used by illegal operators, whether local or abroad, without authority of PAGCOR to entice players and mask on their illegal operations. So we have received reports po of gaming websites using the PAGCOR logo para po makapag-engganyo po sila ng mga players na maglaro sa kanilang platform. So ito po, syempre po, minomonitor po natin ito and nire-report po natin sa proper authorities, but mahirap po na makita po lahat at hindi po lahat ay nabablock. And lastly po, we also think that it's a concern for us that we rely on law enforcement agencies. While we do not intend to get enforcement powers, but our current regulations po are not enough to tackle issues not within the scope of gaming operations or as mandated by our charter. We have, in view of this, we have to constantly cooperate with various government and law enforcement agencies to assist in combating illegal operations, whether online or not. And next slide po. And kung tatanungin po kami kung ano pa po yung mga plans po namin for offshore gaming, konti lang po ito sa mga plano po namin. Gusto po naming mag-employ ng 24/7 monitoring sa lahat po ng operating sites. And we are planning po to remove the framework for the hubs. Sa ngayon naman po ay meron lang po tayong isang hub. And we would like to impose higher fines and penalties to airing licensees and service providers. And gusto pa rin po namin patuloy-tuloy na strengthen yung cooperation namin with law enforcement agencies dahil malaki po talaga ang tulong nila para po prevent po namin at ma-solve po yung mga illegal activities ng mga hindi po licensees. And we would like also to strengthen cooperation with other government agencies such as the Department of Labor and Employment, Bureau of Immigration, para po naman ito sa mga empleyado po na nasa pangangalaga po ng mga licensees natin para ma-ensure po natin yung compliance nila with all the Philippine rules and regulations. So that would be the end of my presentation po. Thank you.